podcast back live, and now I am in San Diego, and my co-host is outside on a business call. So business comes first. He will be joining us soon. And I have two guests with me that I met last week. Was it last week? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what time it is. And we're going to talk today about, and I got a little cold. If you guys don't know me and you're watching for the first time, my name is Marissa Callie, and I am the founder of All the Social, which is tech and automation marketing. And I have Jon here, Jon Gibson. Excuse my, I just had like some salsa, so like my eyes are watering and stuff. I have Jon Gibson here and Lee Mosler. Mosler, like a Z. Okay. Who are friends that I met at Military Influencer Conference in DC. So we're going to talk a little bit about the conference. We're going to talk about how conferences can help you grow your business, and then talk about a little bit about a venture that they're working on together with another veteran. Sure. Oh, okay. Hold on one second. And then we will talk later about how you can go to conferences. I'm going to let you guys do the intro, and I'm going to move rooms because we booked the wrong room. So you guys do your intro. I'll be right back, okay?
All right. Sounds good. So, Jon, tell us a little about yourself. Who are you? What you do?
So I'm just a giant man that loves to hug people. That's what made Marissa say, "Hey, what's up?" Because she got a nice hug and she enjoyed it a lot. But on the real, me and Lee and another veteran named Zach are working on a new project called Veterans United Front, which is basically a directory. And I got my website guy, which is Lee, and Imagined Reality, short-term acronym is AIR. Great guy. If you don't know him, make sure you find out about him. And then Zach Bostic is the other partner, and he runs Send It electronic business cards. Great dude to work with as well. Very humble, and sometimes just likes to have me there to break the icebreaker kind of deal. So, hey Lee, tell us more about what you're going to do for VUF, and also about an Imagined Reality.
Yep. So like Jon said, my name is Lee Mosler. I'm with An Imagined Reality. It's a company I created to help entrepreneurs and business owners help set up their website and understand the entire process behind what's going on online. Most of my business comes from taking a giant idea and breaking it down into smaller pieces so that I can help a client get their desired results. So I've been doing that close to 10 years now. And I love it. But one of the things I get to do that is really the godsend for me is people like Jon come to me and say, "Hey, I've got a great idea. I want to build a directory site, and how do I do it?" So let's start taking it piece by piece, and we create a basic model, and then we start really looking at the competition, seeing what everybody else is doing, seeing what they're doing wrong, and we start capitalizing on those missed opportunities.
Yes, awesome. Well, thank you guys for taking the lead on that. I just moved rooms. So it's the same looking room, right? So, yeah. So thank you for introducing yourselves. I was happy to meet you guys and connect with you. But I want to know, like Lee, I think I met you on the first night, and you were saying that like this was your first conference.
Yes.
Of this style. Can you talk a little bit about that experience in terms of coming all the way from where you're from?
Yeah. So I actually flew in from Hawaii, where I live, and I flew to Kansas City, where Jon lives, and we road tripped out for like 20 plus. It was a long time. Okay. I slept most of it, admittedly, but it was a really long time. The conference was really nice because I got to meet people who were very much like me, similar mindset, in business, veterans. So, we get to rib on each other, but at the end of the day, it was one of those things where you felt a sense of camaraderie because everybody there had a maybe not the same goal, but they had a similar goal and a similar outcome in mind.
Right. So what type of goals did you have? I mean, what were did you have expectations when it came to make?
I had a few. One of my expectations was I wasn't going to be going to many of the panels. A lot of the panels were in the tech side of things, and which is my business. I wasn't really looking to learn more about the same thing.
Yeah.
So my goal was to network with people and to kind of see where we can, work together. Maybe I can refer them out to somebody else who I had already met.
Right. Right. And John, was this your first conference too, or?
Yeah, I had my cherry popped, unfortunately. I came on down, I drug a few people with me when I came there, but nevertheless, I still showed up in style. And, my white cowboy hat that I can't fit over these godforsaken headphones, everybody just was naturally drawn to that, that presence of, wow, he's different. He's got on something different.
Yeah.
I came to the conference because I just wanted to meet all these online presences that I had never met face to face. Lee, Zach, Steven, Lane, just this big group of people. Because I feel that when a person sees someone face to face, they can definitively tell if they're full of shit or if they're actually the real thing. And so that's what I really came down there for this time around. It was nice to meet, Pat Flynn and Charlinda Scales, as well as everyone else, but I wasn't really there to see the panels and all that other stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because I think, this was probably I would say my first outside of strict marketing conference, but it, completely different, I guess, vertical, you could say, in marketing because it was very military focused and my involvement, if you guys don't know, and I think I told you, John, but those who might be watching, is I do marketing for a nonprofit founded by 2 veterans that were in the Army. So I have a really close connection to the military community in San Diego. There's, 5, 6 bases, I think, in San Diego County. And it's always been part of my life. My grandparents were in the military. And so, one of my best friends was a speaker. And so she was like, okay, well, I'm going to go to MIC DC. And she's like, well, you should come. And I said, okay. So I went, and my goal, I think, for the entire conference was to make 5 quality connections and not get burnt out. Because I know that I can get burnt out when it comes to conferences because you're talking all the time and pitching yourself. You're not really pitching your business, more so pitching yourself because you have to be social and interact with people outside of like your computer, like behind your computer or behind your phone. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting experience. So I know you guys are probably signed up for next year. I don't know if you've signed up yet, but would your experience going to MIC open the door for other conferences? Like, John, what do you think in terms of based on your experience for MIC, like, how do you feel conferences will be involved in your life or your business now?
So, definitively speaking, once me and Lee and Zach get VUF set up, we are definitely going either individually or as a group going to be attending more conferences and events, specifically veteran oriented, nonprofits, etc. And we're definitely going to be working on donating to different nonprofits as well and events and everything else. Because like I said, I love talking to people. I love networking.
Yeah.
This video right here is my weak point. So obviously you can see I'm a little nervous, I'm a little flush red and everything.
But twice in a week.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, definitely going to be doing more events and conferences.
Yeah. What about you, Lee?
Oh, I'll definitely be going to more conferences. You told me about, what was it, Social Media World
Marketing world, yeah.
That one. It's long. Like, can we like shorten that a little bit?
SMMW 20.
Exactly. Yeah, no, definitely. I'll definitely be going to more conferences. Definitely want to try and find that more of that veteran, centric, but
Yeah.
also outside of that, because I know there's obviously people outside of veterans, quite a bit more, but I just that one's going to be a little bit different for me, just because I know what I can do with veterans. I know how I can act and everything else, and I probably won't act any different towards people outside of that realm, but it's how it's going to be taken in, because I don't have that brain mouth filter sometimes. And
I mean, from my perspective, not being a veteran, I don't think that should hinder you from going to other conferences that are outside your comfort zone. In fact, it probably would be better. Hey, Zach, what did the conference do for? Oh, thanks for the. We'll put your questions, Zach, up. I think that so I've been to Social Media Marketing World. I've been to Soccer Coaches of America conference, Startup Week, San Diego Startup Week, Association of like some dermatology, like periodontist show or whatever for one of the clients, and now Mick, and I've been myself the whole time. So it's not, I could see where it could be like out of your comfort zone, but I think taking some lessons for me, like specifically, I'm not a veteran and I didn't feel out of place with Nick. So, and I was around you guys and I heard how you are, we're still friends, right? So it's like, it's not a big deal, but we have a question here from Zach. What did the conference do for both of you professionally?
John, you want to?
Of course. Why not? I can take the lead for Lee. That's how this works. So professionally speaking, it gave me the points of contact I need to feel confident in my future success, which from a professional standpoint is very important, because without my network, without these great group of people that now want to support me and that show interest in my vision, it would be the idea would be for nothing without other people, Right. So professionally speaking, that's what it gave me. It set me up for success.
Right. And you, Lee?
Yeah, so exactly what John said, it kind of validated a lot of things. With Veterans United Front, we got to see where people didn't like the current system that's out there for veteran directories. So we were able to kind of adapt that business plan as we were driving, 20 plus hours. And that was a really great thing. For my company and Imagined Reality, it did quite a bit. I got to see some people that, only met online, but ended up pipelining something like between $30,000 and $50,000 in a week.
Yeah.
That's pretty massive.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I think we're going to have our co-host join us maybe when he finishes up. He doesn't know you guys, and he didn't hear the beginning, but we're talking about the conference. We have he's joining from the spaceship.
All right. All the way from the International Space Station. And y'all got the same backdrop too. They must
Yeah, we're in the same room. Oh my god. Quiet.
Oh boy.
My bad.
They've landed officially.
Can you get rid of that?
Okay. What banner? No, it's a comment. Come on, introduce yourself.
So, hey guys, how's it going?
What's going on?
Hey, how you doing? Welcome.
Oh, I see. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, John, Lee. Sorry, I couldn't see the banner was right in your face.
Hey, it's all right,
So, how you guys doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. Did you all meet at the conference?
Yeah, we met at the conference.
Oh,
Yeah.
Where you guys staying?
I'm in Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
I'm in the great state of Kansas, full of cornfields.
And I like how Lee said Hawaii with the Hawaiian accent.
Yeah, he did.
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
I'm in Hawaii. Yeah, so like John, I know that this was like your first real experience with this conference, and what I want to know is, would you do anything differently at the next year's conference or a different conference that you didn't do last week?
That I did not do last week. That's a great question. I actually, you caught me off guard. I didn't actually think about that. So things I would do differently. I would definitely, now that I've made contact with all the online presences I know, I'm definitely going to be doing more outreach and networking with the people I don't know now. You know, so that's number one. And number two, I'm probably going to attend a lot more of the panels and everything else as well. Because like I said, you know, now that I've made all those contacts, I'm going to have all this free time to do that. And me, Zach, and Lee are actually working on possibly having a sponsorship for VUF next year.
Yeah. Like a table or something, like one of these tables. Yeah.
So people can know who we are and what we do.
Yeah. So you bring up sponsorship. That's interesting because I think there's some people that don't immediately think about being sponsors for conferences. Lee, do you want to talk about maybe why someone would be a sponsor for a conference like this?
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about being a sponsor, like in the expo field we had, was there weren't that many. So you got a little bit more personal time with the people. You have to ask them questions. You get to sell your product, and then, you know, kind of educate people as to what you do. I think being a sponsor in a smaller event where you don't have, you know, thousands and thousands of people, it's actually more beneficial to your business because you get to actually build a relationship. You get to build rapport with other people, which you don't really get that when you have, you know, a massive conference.
Yeah. So I know your business is like service based. Do you feel that would be like a benefit to be a sponsor at a conference where you still have to sit down, like you're not selling something tangible? Like, I'm not going to go and sell this, or like I'm not. I mean, that I think is a struggle for service-based businesses to.
I think with the service-based business, you just have to make sure your messaging is a little bit clearer and a little bit more focused, because you don't have the same amount of time. You don't have 30 minutes each to talk to each person.
Right.
So you have to really like bring in your messaging and make sure that they understand what you do inside, you know, 2 or 3 sentences max.
Right.
With a products-based business, like you said, you can here's what I sell, take it or leave it, kind of a thing.
Here's my breakfast burrito. Buy it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's $5. Here you go. You take it or leave it. You know?
Oh, that's cheap breakfast burrito. We both looked at each other like, oh my god.
Well, you guys live in California, after all. Everything's overly expensive there, so
we can go
more expensive than here.
And
But they don't have breakfast burritos down here.
they have real burritos.
That's good. Anyway.
For like $2.
Yeah. So like, what else did I want to say? So, Chris, have you been to, besides Startup Week, how many conferences have you been to?
Just one, and then I'm going to one in Germany in October. So that's more like a book fair.
Talk to the camera.
Yeah, that's more like I don't know. So that would be interesting and fun. So getting the trip pretty much almost paid for. So
Sweet.
Of course I'm not going to say no to going to Germany.
No.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think if I could go to one conference every month, I think it'd be really nice. But I think that's a little bit of a stretch right now as business is growing.
Yeah, it's small when you're like a one-man show.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because then you have to play catch-up after, right? And that catch-up is rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am in my business. It was like that 1 week shut down, and now this week's just packed.
Yeah. And then sleep and time zone and jet lag and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's killer.
I mean, I don't know what jet lag he had. He slept the entire ride.
Oh,
Josh
they
is like a crazy man. So.
they drove 24 hours from DC to Kansas
Oh man,
after the conference. So
after the conference.
yeah,
That'd be fun. Road trip.
that's a cool experience though. I would like that.
Yeah, we had a after party the night before, and then the next day we left at like midnight. So
Yeah.
That's the thing with conferences. Like, it's not only that you're at the conference, you're also partying.
oh yeah.
So you kind of almost need like a day or two just to recover from those.
Exactly.
But they're always fun. You know, you meet great people. You know,
Mhm.
Even at a conference.
yeah. And what I like about conferences is because everyone's in their suit and tie during the day and trying to showcase themselves. At the end, you really get you really get to see who they are once they have a few drinks, and then they loosen up a little bit.
Hey, Chris, I got a question for you. What happens when you mix a Texan with alcohol?
Mix a what?
Texan with alcohol.
You got a cowboy? I don't know.
You get a really good time.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to
You
go
get your
visit.
badge and then go get there.
My badge.
To get up the
Okay.
key card.
I've been needing to go to Austin for a while. I haven't been down there yet. But.
I'll be right back.
It's not worth it.
All right.
You got the rings. So I talked to them. And then talked to them.
All right.
Austin's really congested, and
It's too liberal in Texas.
you're muted, Chris.
So, how do you guys meet?
How did we meet? That is a very interesting question. Well, let's do a short story on a long history. So I originally joined what is now called, or what used to be called, I should say, the Warrior Council. It was something in the Vetrepreneur tribe by the original owner. And they had what they call fire teams. So in the military, that's basically a squad of guys, go out and they kill the bad person. But in this instance, it was a group of guys throwing questions at one another and working on becoming a better business. And I'm pretty sure that was my first introduction to Lee because he was on my fire team. And then ever since then, we've been conversating off and on. And he's been there with me even through some of my rougher times. So,
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
when was the Warrior Council? About a year and a half ago now? 2 years?
Yeah, it's something. It's been probably about 12 months since they pretty much canceled it
Completely. Yeah.
We had a bad leadership issue, so we got new leadership.
Now everything's slowly straightening out, but it takes time, when to take out that toxicity from a bad leader. So
Yeah, definitely. Are you guys? There's something going on. I'm sorry. Okay, is that better?
yeah.
Okay. So with that leadership that you guys had before, how did you guys? So what was bad about it? If you don't mind me asking.
Scam artist.
Oh, wow.
Really? I mean, just to be blunt here, I am a veteran, so just to be blunt, it was a scam artist, I mean, and he also wronged a lot of people that originally started with the group, and you're talking to one of the people that originally started that he wronged, and it just created a lot of bad taste and mistrust, and I mean, I'll be honest with you. Up until he left, like for the last 8 months, I think that he was still the group leader, if you will. I stopped participating completely. I didn't post in the tribe. And then I got a notification one day about our new leadership, which is now Steven and Lane. And like I said, a lot of people, they're like, it's never going to change, but I was like, well, he's been running this group for like 3 years. 3 years of bad leadership, and it's only been 8 months that they've been in charge. So, I was like, you got to give it some time here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as veterans, we're already skeptical, especially of other veterans, which is really sad. But when he did what he did, he got more it was more about the greed and more about the money coming in than the, everything going out. And that really just kind of put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. So we lost, we actually lost quite a bit of vets that were doing great things inside of the tribe. And now we're, like John said, we're slowly building that back up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
why are you guys skeptical of other veterans?
So, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of the term guru, friggin' somebody that I guess looks like they know what they're talking about, but they really don't in actuality. And you can quickly call the bullshit. Well, in my opinion, veterans, they can smell the difference between fake and authentic, like a coon hound, can pick up the trail of an animal that you're hunting. We definitively speaking, we can smell fake people, and we will definitely not. We have no shame in calling them out if we need to, because they're acting like a bunch of yahoos, you know. But I mean, Lee can maybe offer you another side of that, but that's my opinion.
Well, we're more skeptical of other veterans because most veterans are. Look, there's two types of veterans, right? There's those that served and those who wanted a paycheck, right? They just wanted the title of a veteran. And those are the guys who you have to be really skeptical of because what they're using is their background as a way to advance in whatever field they're in. They're not actually in it to do exactly what they signed up for, which was, serve and protect others, even with, disregard to their own lives or disregard to their own, personal outcomes, I should say. Right. So that's really why we're more skeptical of other veterans than anything, just because we don't know what we're going to get. And because you've been burned so many times from those veterans, you start to build a distrust for everybody in that particular industry,
Yeah, that's just like you see that almost in every industry, right?
Right.
And it sucks that you have, I mean, that's just, I think, people in general.
Yeah.
And you're always going to get your yin and yang, right? Your good and bad things. But unfortunately, like even in at least my industry, and I'm sure in any entrepreneur industry, like you'll see a lot of people that fake it until they make it, or act like they have it all already, but they really don't have it all. Actually, like the other day in my apartment complex, I saw a guy driving out with a Maserati. I'm like, okay, well, why are you driving a Maserati if we live in 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartment? You know that. If I were you, I'd rather invest that money into something else rather than a Maserati. That's
right. Gotta have that flash, man.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it doesn't make sense to me. So it's like I've seen, or like you have a Maserati, you still live at your mom's house or something.
It's just like a private in the Army going out to buy a new Camaro when they're like an E2, freshly out of basic and AIT. I'm just like, really, guy? Come on.
Yeah, like 80% of their income's going straight to their car. It's like
insurance and gas.
You can hear me, right?
We can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Of course we can. You're pretty loud.
Sarah's, she's a colleague of mine. She's helping me with stuff. And she's here for a meeting early. And she's joining us. So,
welcome, Sarah. Welcome.
Hey, Sarah. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, let's start this off anew. Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, sure. About anything?
Yeah, whatever.
Sure, why not?
I think client retention has been a huge topic for me lately in figuring out how to properly keep them and also not be annoying and be like overly like, is everything okay? What's going on? But also not being there enough and not making sure everyone's different. Not every client wants the same thing. They don't always want as much communication. So there's really no formula. So what are some ways that you guys kind of navigate that world?
Well, yeah, you can speak to like being a customer. One, like what makes you stay loyal to a business, but also like Lee, if you have like, you have your set packages and stuff with people, like how do you come up with that?
Um,
Go ahead.
yeah, in mine, it's pretty simple. For packages, I have a set package. It's exactly, I label out what it is, what you get, and base it on how much time I'm going to spend on each one. And then there's a monthly recurring on most of my packages as well, which just kind of helps, keep the client involved, making sure that they're staying on top of things as well as I'm staying on top of things. But for client retention, you can't work with every client. So that's one of the problems I see a lot of entrepreneurs do. They want to take in everybody at the same time. You got to choose your clients, and you got to be willing to fire your clients at the same time. If they're not a good fit for you, fire them.
Yeah,
But
you'll always find a client that's better than that one that's giving you a bunch of grief and headache. There's always somebody else out there that's a better fit for you.
right, just base it off the 80-20 rule.
90-10 is up in here.
Do what? Your microphone's a little far away, so I can barely hear y'all.
We're 90-10 up in here.
Oh.
So 80-20, Lee, tell us about that.
Well, 80-20 is basically you can, 20% of your clients is, giving you 80% of your revenue. But 20% of your clients that are giving you 80% of your headaches, fire that 20%. Your business will grow. It'll just skyrocket because you'll have more time to focus on the others, and then just natural word of mouth comes through.
What makes you, John? What makes you stay loyal to a brand?
Say that again. I didn't quite hear you, ma'am.
What makes you stay loyal to a brand or a business?
What makes me stay loyal to a brand? Authenticity. Authenticity. I don't use this word very often, but I'll use it right here. I hate fake people. If you're fake or you just try to pitch me without even really talking to me first,
yeah,
I automatically just disown you. You're like that stray dog that I don't want. That's just a mutt.
Yeah, like the cells.
Right.
Because people that are authentic to me at the very beginning and try to find out about me in the beginning, they will be that same person throughout the entire course of our relationship. Good or bad, they will be real and they will be honest. And that's what I respect. And that's what I try to do as a person, be authentic to people, show them, show them that I'm genuine. Genuine. It shows them that I'm genuine, that I'm sincere, and that anything that I say, there's conviction and belief behind it.
Yeah.
And they respect that. From my experience, most people respect that a lot more.
Yeah.
And those who don't, you don't take them on.
Else of them. Bye.
Personally, or because as a client and I don't know, the client role is kind of different. So what do you mean by authenticity? People bringing you into their personal life, or just authentic with their business stuff, I guess. What do you mean by that?
Could you repeat that?
Yeah.
I don't think either one of us got the entire question.
Can you hear me?
We can't hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear?
There.
We hear you now.
Yeah, there.
Could you
We heard
repeat your
authentic.
question?
So she said, what do you mean by authentic personally, like personality traits, or when it comes to business? Because I can be the sweetest person, but if I don't deliver results in terms of whether it's tangible or intangibles or knowledge or whatever, what are you talking about when I assume the same, both personality as well as in business, but.
Yeah, that's exactly, for me, that's what it is. I want to know who you are, in work and who you are out of work, because I don't really want to work with the person that I can't, go have a beer with.
Yeah.
That's the kind of person I want to give my money to. That's the kind of person I want to build a relationship with, because that's exactly what you're doing, right? You're building a relationship. If you can't go out and hang out or at least have a good time, short period of time, then what's the point? There's lots of people that do exactly what we all do, right? You had a whole conference full of them.
Right.
Why is it that people choose you over the next person? Is it your knowledge? Maybe. Is it your, what you do? Sure. But if they can't buy into you, then they're not gonna buy you, period. And that's what people buy. They buy people. They don't buy products. They don't buy services.
Yeah. And that's
Okay.
kind of like what Pat Flynn said at the keynote, that he was saying, like, people make experiences and people buy into moments and create super
Right.
and stuff.
Yeah, he was exactly right. Everybody looks for a niche in their market, but they don't look for a niche in people. Right? 1,000 people,
Wow.
1,000 true fans.
That's a good line.
Nice. Yeah, write that down.
I know.
That's the
It's gonna be on Insta later.
So John or Lee, knowing a little bit about me, a little bit about Chris, and very little about Sarah, what questions do you have for us? Do you have anything?
I mean, I guess the most basic question is how did you guys start up this podcast? Like, what brought you two together? What brought this together as a team?
You'll have to go watch episode 1. No, just kidding. I mentor some local startups, and I'm involved in the scene here, so to say, in San Diego. And I met Chris actually on the WOVA app, the same app that we use for Mick. Chris and I talked a little bit about business there, and then we met at like one of the pre-conference meetups, and then he said, we said that potentially we'd work together, but there wasn't any guarantees. And then he posted about, like, after the conference, we hung out at the conference, and I don't even think we went to a session together. We weren't at a session together at all, but we went to the after parties. The after parties we were hanging out at, and then he said he posted that he wanted to do a podcast. And I said, well, I want to do a podcast too, but I don't, because I've done one before, but it was audio only. And I said, I'll only do a podcast again if I have a co-host. So that's how this one was born. And we sat in a room and brainstormed a bunch of ideas of what we wanted, and it came to us, the Business AF. And then Sarah and I were both volunteers at Social Media Marketing World like 2 years ago. So we met through that, and I had set a morning meetup, which is not ideal time for most people. I think at 7 a.m. When I started doing meetup at 7 a.m. last year, and started coming to those. And then now we're working together on some projects. So.
Yeah, that's way too early for me. I gotta no.
I would need about 100 cups of coffee to wake up that early every morning.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But
John's lucky. It's like 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, or
I
whatever.
know. He's complaining about the time. It's like almost 2 o'clock this time.
But hear me out. I got a 4-month-old son too, so I have an excuse.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
You hear that, Ron? Yeah. So.
And he just got shot yesterday. So
this is like conference central up in here on this podcast today. Like we all have a conference.
So my next question, I am not going to lie to you. When you sent me that email, Business AF, I thought it meant business as fuck. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, that's what it means.
Well, explain to them why we chose that.
You tell them. I just talked. I'll mute myself. You on the
No, it's cool.
Anyway.
I talk about it. No, talk about it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Y'all should invest in a microphone.
We do have a microphone, but Chris was on a call. We just didn't have time to prep. So. We have
and it gives us technical difficulties from time to time.
Yeah.
So let's invest in another one. Anyways, the Business AF pretty much came from the idea that, we're both entrepreneurs, but we're much more than that. Like we have our own interests in life. So does everyone else. You guys are from the military. Marissa likes soccer. I don't know what Sarah's interests are, but I'm sure that they're pretty awesome, as well as everyone else's. So, I want to be able to get to know people rather than just their business. Because it's cool, there's hundreds of businesses, thousands of businesses out there, and that's all fine and dandy that you do that. But I want to get to know who you are,
right?
Rather than your business only.
You know, like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's the reason
definitely.
we call it Business AF, because we want to be able to shoot the shit as well as being able to get on topic and, you know, maybe discuss in more detail about business.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want anybody pearl clutching and then like, oh my goodness, your business is what? Look, let's be honest. If you can't handle a name, then you're not the right client.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't want this kind of people on, or at least I personally don't want this kind of people on here.
What's everyone's why? Okay, Zach, I have to put this up and block your guys' faces for a sec because Zach is our guest. He's a guest watching. He's asking questions.
Yeah, he's watching us like hawks right now.
Hi, Zach.
Hey Zach, what's up, man? Thanks for being so gracious to put the input.
What's everyone's why? Not money, but why are you guys in the business? What do you want to fix? So,
Bring a drink.
So I have one question. Can you remove that thing so people can see my face?
Yeah.
I mean, there you go. I could talk. There you go.
Go ahead.
So my why, as far as VUF is concerned, you know, as Lee mentioned earlier, you know, we started looking at other websites. You know, we started seeing where they were weak at, so that way we could make something a lot better based off of those weaknesses. As a person, I hate two things in life. I hate bullies and I hate people getting fucked over or gypped. And that intensity grows if they're a fellow veteran. You know, it just grows enormously. And I see these, you know, it takes us so long, but I see these nonprofits, you know, like Veteran Business Network, you know, they have this really awesome website with all these businesses, but they don't do anything for veterans. Like in the grand scheme of things, if you look at their website, they are not doing anything for veterans other than just simply posting their profile. But I bet you when it comes time to fundraising to get that money for the nonprofit, I bet you they're asking every single one of them, hey, you got something that you can give us this year? You know? And I was just like, if you're not doing anything, why are you there? You know? In my mind, that's how I feel about that. And that's my why as far as the business is concerned. As far as personally, I had a really rough upbringing, you know, comparatively for people that are low income. So I always strive to improve people's lives. You know, that's my thing. That makes me, in my inside right here, that makes me happy as a person to take them out of their own way so that way they can see something different. You know, I don't care about the money. You know, I'm always going to have money. God always makes sure that I'm taken care of, that my family's taken care of at the end of the day. But I love just taking care of people. You know, there's people at the conference, you know, I spent my own money on them. I don't care if they pay me back, whatever. It's no concern to me, but that makes me happy as a person, you know. And a lot of people see that. Marissa has seen that, you know, Lee has seen that face to face, you know, and a bunch of other people. And so they see that I'm sincere when I say I'm here for you. Like you, Chris, you, Marissa, you, Lee, you know, I'm here for you guys. So that, you know, that's my why, business and personally.
Yeah.
True. Okay. Now, Lee, your turn.
Like John, I had a very bad upbringing. Like we were poor, and I don't say that like, oh, we were poor. No, dirt started to taste good. We were poor. And we couldn't make our $100 rent payment. We had eviction notices. I don't know how many times, but somehow, you know, my mom and dad just continued to push forward and made it happen. And there were several times where, you know, they didn't need, but they made sure I did. So I got to see, I guess, serving in a different way because, yeah, parents are supposed to take care of their kids, but how many parents do you actually see go through that hardship of actually wanting to take that hard course just so that they can provide? You know, a lot of parents don't, and it's sad. So when I was 13, my dad had a business, and I kind of learned a little bit about it. As I got older, I went into the military and got out, and I found that I couldn't take orders from somebody else, right? I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you're quite independent when you come out the military, and I had no want to ever work for somebody else. I ended up doing that. I ended up working for someone, did really well, and got passed over for a promotion, which, I was a little salty about it. And I probably went a little, offbeat, but that actually started me on taking entrepreneurship as a full time, because I had a son, and I didn't want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and get to work by 6:30, and I didn't want to leave work at 5 o'clock and get home at 6:30. Right? By the time I'm getting home, I'm getting maybe 2 hours of time to spend with him, and that's not living. Like, that's not enjoying anything you want. So I decided to take an $80,000 pay cut just to stay home with my son and build my business. He is my why. He is why I do everything. It's why we live in Hawaii. We could probably be great in Texas, but there's nothing out there for him. Here, there's endless possibilities.
Right.
So my why in business is very much the same reason as my why in life. I want to serve others, and I want to help them achieve a level of freedom that they want, because it means something different to every person. That's what I want. That's my why in business.
And, a couple of things to add on top of that. And thank you, Marissa, for your patience. I appreciate it, man. You're just so gracious today. But, kind of jumping off a couple of things that Lee said. One, you have two types of people that leave the military. You have lions, you have hyenas. Hyenas are the people that Lee just talked about, the ones that use their status, that are entitled, and use their status to hunt off of people. And then you got lions. They come out, they want to be leaders. They don't want to be, they don't want to be a slave to a corporation, which, same as Lee. I was a slave. I spent 10 to 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, between driving, working, and overtime, maybe longer than 12. When I came home, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to see anybody. I literally just wanted to come home, maybe talk to my wife, and spend some time with my son, and my weekends, I just wanted to relax. House projects started going, downhill and everything else. But now that I'm done with my job, I'm rekindling this fire back inside myself. It came down to this little ember, and now I'm rekindling back into a roaring fire now that I've left my job. And it feels great to not have to wake up at 5 a.m. just to get to work on time and not be back home till 6 at night. Some nights, or 7.
Right.
It's the most amazing feeling in the world. And then the last thing I want to say real fast, because we are going at 48 minutes right now, is
Just kidding.
is that you have two routes you can take in life. You have money, you have relationships. I guarantee you, every single time, if you choose relationships at the end of your life, you will be far happier than if you just chose money. Because if you have good relationships, the money, typically, on average, it comes with the relationships, because people will invest in those that build a relationship with them.
Right.
Yeah. I think Patch Adams said it best. You treat a disease, you win, you lose. You treat a person, you win every time. And I think that's kind of important in business, is to treat people like they are people. Like, instead of looking for their money, treat them like people, and you can't go wrong.
Right. Well. Just kidding.
She's so silent right now. She's like, oh my God, I had an epiphany.
Marissa, what's your why?
It's kind of intertwined with that. I was working the corporate life, and I didn't have the flexibility that I could in order to, one, build on my knowledge and apply certain things that I've learned in the industry. And so there was a conflict of interest, and I essentially got myself fired, which was great. And then I didn't know what to do. So my why right now is be able to, and it's similar to what my why is for the people that I help, to create freedom in their day-to-day, to reduce the anxiety that they have when it comes to technology and anything related around that. I'm your girl. I'm the person that will take that on and own it. And for me, as I embrace this industry and being in business and build a business, I want to be able to have the freedom to be able to give back to the community in ways that are like maybe not necessarily with money, but with, like Jon said, relationships. So as I build my business and as it grows, I can build my team, but also give back, whether it's the veteran community or it's the low income community that I'm surrounded by. As I create this business, I'm able to give back, and that's ingrained in me. It always has been. It's something that I make sure it's a part of my day to day, or not day to day. I would say every month. I would say I give back as much as I can to the community. But and not like you guys might see me everywhere online. I might be always going on live or doing a story or posting here and there, but really like the in-person conversations and relationships that I'm building is why I continue to do what I do. And I think you guys got some of that last week when I was at the after party at your guys' Airbnb, and then also, just the day after.
Yeah.
I wasn't online. I didn't post about it. I didn't say, oh my gosh, like this is what I'm doing. Come follow me. Go live. Blah 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 blah. Like, but there were some real conversations that were had between us, and I know Chris has experienced that as well with me in person, and Sarah too. Sure. So, my why.
Sarah, what's your why?
Ready?
Actually, what kind of business do you have?
Hey, Chris, stop evading, man. Why are you putting it on her? It's your turn.
So I'm a content creator. I love anything with like writing content or photography. Any type of content creation is my jam. And I could call myself a strategist at first, but then Marissa and I had some conversations, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, strategy comes with it, but I don't know that that's like the center focus of my passion and why I do what I do. Just for as long as I can remember, like when I was little, I would color or do art or just do different things like write. And it's kind of cool that I can make that into a job. It looks different than just being an artist and painting on a canvas, but it's similar in a lot of ways too, because I get to use a lot of my brain and creativity. And I worked for a corporation too and got laid off. And then I kind of was it a decision, like kind of a fork in the road. And I was like, I'm either going to keep applying for jobs or just start on my own. I decided to start on my own, and it's been a pretty like shaky ride so far, just because it's only been about a year since I went off on my own, and I'm just trying to figure out like, a lot of trial and error for sure. And the freelance world is awesome, but also not always the most consistent. So it's been an interesting journey. And what I like most about starting my own business is that I get to have time for ministry, and I just have like a huge passion for church and women's ministry, and do a podcast with that. So it gives me like the freedom and the kind of like space to do the things and other things I'm passionate about too. So
Nice.
a lot.
You should introduce her to Suzanne.
She's the one that wrote the book.
No.
No, she's into
Yeah.
ministry.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Be good to collaborate.
Cool. Well, I think we're about to close up shop for today. We all have to go back to our businesses. Chris, you want to close it out?
It's definitely been a slice.
Slice? A slice of what?
That's just an old school way of saying goodbye.
Oh, okay.
I've never heard that one.
It must be a southern thing.
It's just like saying, "Hey, look over yonder."
Hey, we'll put some hair on that dog too.
Yeah. Weirdos.
No, yeah, I mean it's great meeting you guys. Hopefully maybe we can even touch back and
Yeah.
see where you guys are. I'd like to hear more. I didn't really. Sorry, I was late. I was on a phone meeting that was actually very important.
Well,
It happens.
But yeah, I mean it's great meeting you guys. Nice meeting you too, Sarah.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of on my
And she just kind of chimed in too. It's kind of cool.
A
So.
little bit.
She's got a good sidekick.
Yeah, is there, where can people find you guys?
only.
I was gonna say best place to find me is on Facebook, either through Animagined Reality at Shaping Air or through my own personal page at Lee Mosler.
And John.
And if anybody wants to find me, I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. I gave Marissa the links. There's 10,000 Jonathan Gibsons in Facebook, so you literally have to look for the guy that's either with his really nice black lady side by side with sunglasses, or on LinkedIn you can find this really handsome fellow with the brown felt cowboy hat that looks like he's in the dream state, basically. But hey, Chris, I mean, I'll tell you better come to the next MIC, sir. I might have to just rope you and drag you on down.
Yeah.
Hey,
San Antonio, Texas next year.
I'd love to go to San Antonio. I'm telling you, I want to go to Texas.
Okay, you're coming next year.
Hey, that's what I'm
Yeah, they got a really good barbecue place out there too.
Get some good barbecue.
doing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And not Tex-Mex food. 'Cause,
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Alrighty.
so all right, guys, we're gonna head
Thank
out.
you.
But yeah, thank you for your time and talk to you soon.
Thank you. Y'all have a good
Bye.
one.
Thanks.
Is it done?
No, I'm ending it.
Oh, okay.